If you have been putting in the work and not getting the results that you believe you deserve, I want to help you get over that. In life, we have to go through an alchemical process. We have to cook down our lead into gold. And that takes time. That takes patience and perseverance. I know this because in my personal life, I have always been an artist. And when I first started making music, it actually wasn't that good, even though I thought that there was something in me that should be recognized or should be able to create a level that I saw in those who I admired. I had to come to terms with the fact that in order to actually produce the results that I knew I was capable of, it was going to be just a lot of reps, a lot of time in the studio doing take after take, edit after edit, changing lyrics of songs, basically being in the mix. And that was an initiation for me because I had to break down that part of me that believed that none of that was necessary, that somehow I would just be able to create what I wanted to create. And this is the case for everything that we do, whether it be in business or in relationships. There is something that we want and believe that we should be able to get, but our expectation and reality are completely divorced. And this is a huge liability if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a budding entrepreneur, or you're trying to do anything new. If you are a creator, a solopreneur, there are going to be far, far more reps than a part of you would like to accept to get the result that you want. For example, in making this video, this is like take 20 because, and all morning I've been setting up this space, trying to understand how to use the space that I have with the limitations I have to be able to bring forth the value that I know I have to give. But there's this process, and it's an alchemical process wherein what I have is being cooked down, boiled down. And there's no way to really control that. You have to just show up and do it. And that is a hard truth for this younger part or parts within us. Maybe you were told when you were young that you were special, or that you had special gifts, or there was something about you that was one day going to come out into the world and make a difference. And in some ways, that's a good thing to have, but in others, that's a liability because you still have an expectation that it will be easy. Now, it doesn't mean that it can't be smooth, and there's a certain amount of maturation that makes things smoother. And I want to speak directly to that because you need to find a way to essentially be in the process of cooking without losing your center, without falling into emotionality, without allowing these parts of us to become dominant. Essentially, you've got to do a couple of things. The first is the more that you get into the ring of what you know you need to do. For example, with myself, being in front of this camera, making content. The more that I'm in the ring, willingly showing up every day, I am inhabiting my capital S self-energy. I'm inhabiting this person who knows how to just be in the mix, be in the cooking process without losing the center, and is able to see the entire arc of the journey and be cool with it. I'm practicing being in that adult, mature self. Secondarily, what you need to do once you have more of that is be able to self-contain these parts that are going to get out of hand when you're not getting the results that you want, when you're putting in all the work, when you're showing up, when you are more and more in that capital S self-energy with the things you know you need to do, but you're not getting to where you want to be. These parts are going to get riled up. They're going to get emotional, despondent, maybe turn to addictions, try to distract you, try and find some way out of just being in the alchemical cooking process because it's uncomfortable, because they don't want to have to deal with that. And they especially don't want to have to deal with the fact that in order to get what you most desire, you need to become a different person. Otherwise, you would have gotten it already, right? They don't want to deal with that. And in fact, they could be acting as protectors. They may see you as a younger self who, in their view, does not have the capacity to go through the necessary confrontations and alchemy to get to be this person who's capable of executing on the level that would bring you the results that you know you're capable of and that you want. So that's like a process of disentangling the inner protector parts or the inner parts, such as, for example, like a lot of us in this culture today have a strong Peter Pan, puer puella complex, because for a lot of us, things were easy in our generation, right? We didn't have a war, we didn't have a famine, we didn't have a depression, etc., etc. So our bar for effort and our bar for staying with it is not as high. And that's another thing that needs to be burned off or brought up to speed. So the point is, keep cooking, because there's really no other way to do what you want to do but cook. And when it comes to getting the results that you want and feel you deserve, you've got to actually let the world tell you that you deserve it. You've got to keep showing up and iterating until the world sends you back a signal that shows you that, yep, you have actually cooked down your lead to a certain point where now it's valuable. It's a form of gold. And of course, it's a process that you're never going to give up. You're never going to stop cooking. You're going to be cooking your whole life. That's kind of the point of this path of being what I would call a road opener or an artist, Jedi, entrepreneur person. You are cooking for your entire life. Your value, your experience, your ways of being, which is this prima materia, into gold, into offers, into value that other people can use and benefit from. But we just cannot expect that just being a diamond in the rough is enough. More and more, we have to go through a process of alchemy and accept that we're going to be in that until the world gives us a milestone and says, yep, you have created something now that's actually useful. And so being able to inhabit this capital S self energy, being able to inhabit the mature creator within you, the adult, is what's going to allow you to stay in the game. And that side of you is connected to the larger arc and the larger mission that you have, the larger set of values that you are here to protect and create from and gather people around. That's your big why. When you have that strong why, you're going to be able to show up every day and put in the reps, and also be able to contain those parts that from time to time can get out of hand. There's one more thing I want to share around how I deal with those parts, which is to play. The more play that I can inject into my day, especially if those parts get riled up, if they're starting to tell a story of, I don't know if I want to do this, or this is taking too long, or how come XYZ hasn't been recognized, or what have you. I'm like, okay, now it's time to play. I'm in my office here and I have my drums right there. I've played the drums for decades. And that's my single most reliable way to get back into a zone of flow and to help calm the worries of those parts. So you need some kind of play, you need some kind of pattern interrupt that as your capital S self gets stronger and stronger, you can turn to help deal with these parts that are going to try and derail you. So I just want to say, just think about alchemy. Think about this process of getting the results that you want, of getting to be an actual 5-star solopreneur or creator as a long process of cooking. You got to be cooking. You got to be excited about cooking. You got to know that, like, what else is there to do? Are you going to be an employee? Are you going to go get a job? Are you going to take a different path? If you're not cut out for a lifelong cooking process, that's okay. You got to know that there's different paths in life. But if you are this type of person who feels absolutely called to bringing forth something 5-star that's never been done, or that's truly unique, or that's the fullest expression possible of your essence, what you came here with, then accept this cooking process. Accept being in an alchemical transmutation for the rest of your life, and find ways to have fun with it. Find ways to lean into it. Over time, we get more and more mature. We get more and more connected to that capital S self-energy, and we can do it more and more easily. We can have more fun with it. But at the start, it's going to be kind of tough because you just have a bunch of lead and you're not used to this cooking, and you got to figure it out. But that's the beauty. That's where we all have to start and what we all go through. So I hope this makes sense. If you need help with this, book a call with me in the link below, and let's talk about how we can cook, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to support people like you to move through this alchemy process. So with that, I'll see you in the next video.